Group B of the Dominic Smith Electrical Senior Football Championship sees Glenbarntown sitting pretty at the top on 2 wins out of 2. Castletown are in second place with 1 win. Crossabeg also have a win, so too do Kylenearn and the Starlights. And at the bottom of the group with 2 losses so far are St Anne's. Paul, you're obviously a Glenbarntown man. You're obviously happy enough to see Glyn right up at the top of the group so far.
Yeah, surprisingly enough, probably at the start of the year, we definitely, if you had looked at our first 2 matches before anybody seen teams or anything, if you had said you were playing Kylenearn up first and St Anne's up second, you wouldn't be kind of banking on getting 2 wins. But I can't say, luckily enough, they played both of them when they played them, but Kylenearn definitely were down 2 or 3 of their better fellas against us when they played us. And St Anne's, I suppose you may call a spade, they seem to be putting very little into the football championship so far, but maybe putting all their eggs into the hurling basket. And luckily enough, maybe Glenbarntown got them when they're not really concentrating much on football. But I suppose for them, I think round 3 is going to be a big one for them, because they honestly don't want to be in the bottom, just say the bottom 2, 5th or 6th place in that group, because all of a sudden then, no matter how well you're going into hurling, all of a sudden you could have a relegation semi-final or relegation final for football to look forward to, and like that's really takes the good out of your hurling, no matter where you come. So I think for everybody else in that group, they're going to maybe find it much tougher and better St Anne's hanging to play as they play him. So I think Glenbarntown are lucky enough they got him in round 2, when maybe they have their eye off the big ball and on the small ball.
Yeah, if we just look at a second of round 1, you mentioned that Glyn had a big victory over Kylenearn 117 to 2-5. The Starlights got a last minute goal to just about beat Crossabeg, and Castletown annihilated St Anne's. So as you said, it doesn't seem as though St Anne's are really tuned up for it at the moment. Starlights, it's definitely hard to tell what they're at, because they were very poor in round 2. What were your thoughts on
I suppose after the round 1 match, listen, you're kind of looking at Castletown going, they're really motoring, and you'd be thinking that they're definitely going to be in the shake-up. And then opposite with the Starlights, even though they got that last minute goal to beat Crossabeg by 2-7 to 12 points, it's a scoreline that kind of tells you that Crossabeg Balmurray are a better team. It's as simple as that. Like, Starlights got their win, but they were very lucky to get that win. And then in the second round, to lose by, just say, 15 points to 10 to roughly the same team that we kind of beat easy enough, that was a disappointing enough result in my opinion for Starlights. And I think they need to up their game as well, big time the football. I could imagine they're maybe keeping their eye on the ball in the hurling as well, but they'd be another team like St Anne's that there's no point finishing 6th in the football and having a relegation match to look forward to. Where Kylenearn, I know they have 1 win and 1 loss, but for them I think they'd be happy enough, because listen, if you're short Paddy Hughes and Keegan Hughes and Scholesy, and I think David didn't play against us, literally that's probably 4 of your 5 most influential players not playing. Like, they'll have all them back probably for round 4, round 5. You'll see a much different Kylenearn team then.
I think I counted up the other day that Kylenearn were missing, for round 2 they were missing something like 10 or 11 lads who played in last year's senior championship, which is phenomenal. Now, they weren't all starting every day, but they were missing, and they still managed to comfortably beat the Starlights, which I know there's only 5 points on the board or on the final score, but the Starlights got the last 3 points of the game,
and that's why I think that Kylenearn will be okay. They're only on 2 points at the moment, but they're definitely going to get 2 more wins out of the last 3 matches, I think, to qualify. Starlights are going to have to probably, listen, I could imagine Starlights probably looking at St Anne's, and St Anne's are probably looking at Starlights and saying that's the game both of us have to win, because Crossabeg Balmurray, they were very unlucky against the Starlights. They actually played very, very well against Castletown, and I think with Paddy back, Paddy and which is the difference is midfield? Rowan. Like, that's probably the best midfield partnership probably in Metro Senior football, club football, I could say at the moment, especially in given another 4 or 5 weeks, and it's a huge base for them to start off with. And listen, football wise, they've been motoring along very well. I mean, they got one good win every year since they came up, and realistically they have their win already with 3 rounds to go. So I'm thinking they'll be okay, and I just think that the way I've seen it so far, bar injuries of course, and you can't take injuries into account, I think Glenbarntown will probably do enough. They'll probably get another win somewhere along the line to make sure they're top 4. I think Castletown will do the same. Listen, Castletown, they had 1 really good performance and 1 really poor performance by their standards, but listen, they're good enough as well to get 1 or 2 more wins along the way. So I think even though there's 3 rounds to go, I think the St Anne's Starlights match in this match is the really important one, and the loser that, I think, is going to be in big trouble.
So we look ahead then to round 3, the 3 games that are on. We have the big game, we'll say the Starlights and St Anne's, the bottom of the table clash. Who's going to win it?
That is the one we've been speaking about, is right. And even though St Anne's have probably shipped 2 serious enough beatings, I just saw enough of them in the match against us that I think there's enough in them. I think physically wise, I think maybe conditioning wise, they are probably better than the Starlights at the moment. And football, listen, it's an awful lot about conditioning until you get maybe to the semi-finals, where at that stage it's the elite forwards usually win you county finals, right? I think that's the difference between more teams, the elite forward. But like from what I saw against St Anne's, they were. I just think they're fitter at the moment than the Starlights, and I think that would be enough probably to get them over that line.
Then we have Kyle and Erin and Crossabeg Ballymurn.
Yeah, and another tough enough one now, because at the moment, listen, if it was two full teams, I'd have to say Kyle and Erin would probably win that one, and it's probably win it by 5 or 6 points. But at the moment, without the players they have, and from what I've been told, they're not coming back. I have a sneaky suspicion that Crossabeg Ballymurn might actually get a win in that one. I'm just very impressed the way Crossabeg Ballymurn play football. As I said, they dominate the mid of the field. They have as much possession as anybody else. Mark Byrne is another very good player from up front. They know how to play football well, and I think Kyle and Erin, as much as they had a good win against the Starlights, I just think at the moment, bar if the team she comes out in Paddy Hughes, or two out of Paddy Hughes, Keane Hughes, just say Joe Bulger or Scholes he play, but then I'd give the nod to Kyle and Erin. But if it's the same thing that they've had out for the first 2 rounds, I think Crossabeg Ballymurn will win that.
I'd say Joe Bulger would be surprised with Jason. I think.
Sorry, Jason. Sorry, yeah. You're dead right. Yeah.
And the final game then, Castletown and Glenbarntown.
Castletown and Glenbarntown. Yeah, this is a kind of a funny enough one now, because I think the last 4 or 5 times they played, there's literally been nothing between. I think there's always a point either way, and this will be one of the matches now where I think both teams listen to know each other fairly well inside and outside. I think even in the league semi-final, I think up in Castletown won that match by a point. I think this year, the league semi-final up in Castletown. Like Glenbarntown have a very, very young team. Like I think that 8 of the team that started both matches were under 21, and that's without Dara Carney and Sean Cooney, who'll both be on the team if they're around. So they literally could have 10 under 21 starting on their senior team, where Castletown are probably a little more experienced. Now I know Castletown can't afford maybe to lose another match, but I think if Glenbarntown have all their young fellas out, I think that they'll be good enough to get a draw, and I think it will be a draw, because I think both teams will be happy with a draw. And literally it's a bit like the whole, just say, Armagh kind of Galway thing. They kind of beat each other by a point each year.
It's been very tight.
And literally it's whoever's ahead after 60 minutes or 60 minutes is going to win this one. But I think that there won't be any more than a point in at the end.